the actual impact of Operation Sindoor, we continue to witness what's really happening in the minds of those rattle-mind terror gurus in Pakistan and POK. Because after India's successful Operation Sindoor, that demolished major terror hubs in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, we're talking about at least 9 of those. Now, Pakistan-backed terror groups are changing their tactics. According to MOD sources, and we've got some docket and details with us, the latest intelligence, it reveals that Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen are shifting their bases deeper into Pakistan, into Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. They feel there is more strategic cover for them in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, KPK, than in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Let's take you through some of those pictures that we've got for you, because at least 9 terror hideouts in POK were destroyed in those Indian strikes during Operation Sindoor. And now in a desperate move, and it clearly looks and sounds desperate, we earlier heard the Jaish commander in that jihadi recruiting bid, which happened just 7 hours before the Pakistan-UAE match, and we all know what happened on that particular front as well. Jaish and Hizbul are relocating camps to the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa with direct support of Pakistan's security establishment. Some of those pictures, we're going to continue to go on there. Meanwhile, Hizbul Mujahideen is also building a new camp, and this new camp is called HM313 in Lower Dir's Bandai area, and it is run by former Pakistani commando Khalid Khan himself. The name 313 itself refers to both the Battle of Badr Ghazwa in Islamic history and Al-Qaeda's deadly Brigade 313. And some of these pictures will tell you exactly, because these are some police personnel that you can see as well. The police personnel right in front of the entire crowd that's taking part in that recruiting rally. HM313, Hizbul Mujahideen 313, there's a new base that's coming up. This is in the Lower Dir's Bandai area. And then you've got another one which we have information on us at this point in time. This is sources inside Mansehra have confirmed construction activity, a lot of logistical movement as well. And before we talk about that, take a look at this. This was essentially, this is the Mansehra camp that you see. A lot of logistical development and movement. As you can see, new iron grids that are being laid down. All of this has happened after Operation Sindoor. What we're learning about is that sources now link this particular facility that you're seeing on your screens directly to Kashmiri's speech. We earlier heard the Jaish-e-Mohammed Supreme Commander's, a top commander, terrorist commander's speech earlier in the day, and he categorically said it out there: because of the Indian missiles, our brave warriors, well, we're going to end up calling them terrorists because that's exactly what they did. They were burnt down to the ground. They were pretty much made minced meat, and which is why Asim Munir, the Pakistan chief, which now has been elevated to the field marshal status, allowed the corps commanders and the Pakistan army officials to go attend the namaz-e-janaza or their funeral processions. And this picture speaks volumes in itself. This move is aided by the Pak government across all these different recruitment gatherings that are being under the garb of religious events and religious gatherings. It's actually jihadi recruitment that's happening. India earlier ended up destroying the 9 terror hideouts in POK, and now it seems like the rattled commanders are taking these camps away from POK. That's not going to save them. Let's tell them one by one. That's Khalid Khan, ladies and gentlemen, on your screen. The HM, Hizbul Mujahideen 313 camp is going to be run by an ex-army commando. We have details on this man as well. Khalid Khan, Hizbul Mujahideen commander, is an Pak Army Commando. 313, this nomenclature, let's put out those HM313, the Hizbul Mujahideen camp. Let's show you some of those pictures as well. Right on the top it says HM313. Take a look at that. We'll put some of those pictures out. And that 313 nomenclature, there's significance behind that nomenclature, because you've got the Badr Ghazwa, the battle that took place. These are visuals of Mansehra. So we're talking about 2 camps. This is the Jaish-e-Mohammed camp, which we have now intelligence on. This is the Mansehra camp, and the other one is the HM313 camp. This is the leader, an ex-Pak army commando who's going to be leading that particular camp, which is still underway. We're also learning, and sources are telling us and indicate, that this facility is intended as a replacement for destroyed POK camps. This one right here, take a look at this. This is the new Hizbul camp, new Hizbul Mujahideen 313. This is camp in Lower Dir's Bandai area. Right there on the board you can see as well. It says in big bold letters, Hizbul Mujahideen 313. And 313 nomenclature also for the deadly Al-Qaeda Brigade 313. Now this land is replacement for destroyed POK camps and a platform for indoctrination and cross-border planning into Kashmir. And another aspect is that this land was bought surreptitiously. This information has also come out as part of this intelligence docket, that this land came out and it was bought, in very, shady atmosphere back in 2024. And now after Operation Sindoor, construction is again underway. So we know about this man, and then, of course, Kashmiri, who made that speech spewing venom against India, against the Indian state, and making it quite clear. What evidence does the entire world now need when you have somebody like a Jaish-e-Mohammed commander who categorically said that it was Asim Munir himself who sent those corps commanders for the funeral of the dead, of the deceased terrorists of Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen. We've got some more details as part of this entire development. Let's again go to Mansehra. If we can take our views back to Mansehra, what's really happening over there, even as these terror groups and terror hubs are now having to flee back. Let's take a look at what's happening essentially in Mansehra. Now, Mansehra is the first area. This is the Jaish-e-Mohammed terror outfit and hub that is now being built again. A lot of logistical work, a lot of trucks and their movement has been notified as part of this development. And sources inside Mansehra confirm construction activity at an increase in logistical inflows at the site. Sources link that this facility directly is related to Kashmiri's speech and the recruitment appeals, as attendees were urged to join Jaish-e-Mohammed and physically enroll in jihad. Operation Sindoor's aftermath. Now, all of these people are running away, and that's not going to stop them. They think they're going to get more protective strategic cover. Pakistan's state machinery is going to help them out deeper into KPK. Well, that's not going to happen. And another evidence for all of our viewers that are watching this right now, this picture that you see right now is another one of these religious, so-called religious gatherings that have been planned. This one is going to take place on the 25th of September, and this is going to take place in Peshawar. We have some details on that particular front as well. Inspector Liaquat Shah was pictured and clicked at one of these religious gatherings as well. So, what is the Pakistan army doing with the Jaish-e-Mohammed and the Hizbul Mujahideen? Equally troubling observations of police presence and cooperation at these rallies. And after the Mansehra recruitment drive, sources also confirmed that Jaish-e-Mohammed's plan to hold another major event on the 25th of September 2025. Take a look at some of those visuals. In Peshawar's Marakaz Shaheed Maqsoodabad to commemorate Yusuf Azhar, Masood Azhar's brother, who was killed in Operation Sindoor. This is evidence enough for the entire world to know and to understand that Pakistan's biggest export is nothing but terrorism. And for all the global agencies that are constantly asking for evidence, what more proof do you actually need? There's another meeting that is going to take place on the 25th of September, which is going to be beamed live again. Joining me here on the broadcast is News9's input editor, Brijesh Pandey. Brijesh, there is no more requirement of evidence per se, if one really looks at it. All these pictures, they speak for themselves. When he started spewing venom against India, about 7 hours before the Pakistan-UAE match, which was again a storm in a teacup, and he goes on to say that Asim Munir, the chief, who had not been elevated as the field marshal back then, had asked his corps commanders to attend the funeral ceremony. What more evidence does the world need now?
Well, I think, what the world needs is not evidence. I think what the world needs is for the Western worlds to shed their hypocrisy when it comes to terrorism. Terrorism has always been very conveniently divided into two spheres. The first sphere is anything which happens in a country like France, America, England and Germany, it's terrorism. Anything which happens in India or any other Southeast Asian country, then, it is terrorism, but we are not that much bothered about it. And that is the reason why terrorism, it is there in the world. That is the reason why Pakistan, despite now being signed, sealed, delivered as a terror sponsor state, every single individual who is in the business of intelligence in the Western world knows about Pakistan roles either directly or indirectly in not only exporting terror to India but also arming other terror groups, be it Africa, be it Afghanistan, be it in other parts of the world, how they are actively aiding and abetting terrorism. Everyone knows it. So what we are looking for is not more evidence. What we are looking for is whether the world is willing to, Western world especially, specifically, is willing to concede that when we talk about terrorism, we are not doing just, giving platitudes about terrorism and how we are, vastly concerned about it, mouthing, empty concerns and empty sentiments that we are very sorry that these many people died. They know about it. But the fact is, will the Western world wake up to this real menace of terrorism? Will the Western world wake up to the problem that Pakistan has become? I mean, if you look at the fact that, what happened in Pahalgam would make every blood of every single individual boil. But what happened to Asim Munir, who was one of the key architects of this entire facade which is going on? Kabir, you were talking about, how the police is protecting. I would say the fusion between Pakistan army and terrorists are such that you never know when the army guy ends and when a terrorist starts. So it's just like talking about same individual with two different nomenclature. But the problem is that, when it comes to likes of somebody like POTUS, United States President, the fact is that he's still willing to be more pally with Asim Munir, knowing fully well what he is doing, what his army is doing, what his the terror groups which he is actively harboring and exporting terror across India is doing. Yet he's still willing to break bread with him, but impose tariffs. So I think more than evidence, what we now need to do is to end the Western world hypocrisy. Kabir?
Just break bread, Brijesh. There is business deals that are going on. Mr. Witkoff's son, Donald Trump's own son, they've got massive money that's been invested in Pakistan. And on that particular front, after that new NATO-like pact between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, an American official was always present there. No one can say that the Americans do not know what really happened with this new NATO-like pact, and we already know the implications of the revocations of those sanction waiver and how it impacts New Delhi. But Khalid Khan, you made an important and pertinent point. We don't know where Pakistan army ends and where terrorism essentially begins. Khalid Khan, who's an ex-Pak army commando, is going to be leading HM313 in the Bandai area in Lower Dir. Now, one thing is for certain, the Indian intelligence knows exactly where these new bases are, and our strike capability. Let's touch upon that. If they think they're going to move away from POK and go into KPK, they're going to be safe. Well, that's absolutely wrong now, isn't it?
Well, it is wrong because now, one thing is very clear post Operation Sindoor is that, India is not willing or is not unsure of exercising its military might to make sure that, the perpetrators of terror pay. The only reason I would say is that by shifting it from, Pak-occupied Kashmir to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area is that, you feel that you'll be slightly under the guidance of Pakistan army there. It's an international border which borders with Afghanistan. And there are several other groups which are actively there. So the feeling is that right now, if you keep these rebuild terror camps in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, you never know when another attack happens. But they feel that, once you shift these bases to these terrain, the chances of India striking again would be a lot more less. And I think the real business of Pakistan or the real relevance of Pakistan in the whole world is its geographical location. And they know that exporting terror is perhaps their best bet when it comes to make for a survival. For a country, which is teetering at the bottom of, be it economic ruin or if you look at this Pakistan as a society, which is almost on the brink of starvation, lack of education and so on, still exporting terror remains the high currency. It makes them valuable as a country which is willing to bend or circumvent any kind of moral compass just to stay relevant. And that is the reason why, this shifting is taking place. But I think, one of the fundamental shift that has taken place is now Pakistan has realized that the bluff, the $1 million word that we are a nuclear armed nation, that bluff has been called. And now they know that irrespective of whether, we're a nuclear armed country or whether there's a much famed mutually assured destruction, the MAD doctrine being in presence, India will not hesitate to strike back. And I think this is one big reason why, these camps are being shifted to what Pakistan believes are safer sanctuaries, and that will make sure that, Pakistan army, Pakistan police, Punjab police can actively liaison with them and make sure that they are protected identities. For how long, we don't know. But yeah, the strike capability of India was very much visible, and you very rightly mentioned the start that, anybody who wanted proof need not ask Indian army or Indian government or anybody from India. The Jaish-e-Mohammed's top terrorists, Jaish-e-Mohammed or Lashkar-e-Taiba were doing their job,
right,
providing clinching evidence of what exactly happened during Operation Sindoor. Kabir?
Well, absolutely. Many thanks, Brijesh, for joining us here and helping us put this latest detail and evidence into perspective. Not that the entire world needed much more of this. From POK to KPK, Pakistan's terror machinery is regrouping, but India remains prepared to destroy it again if need be. This is the actual impact and the aftermath of Prime Minister Modi redrawing the red lines on terror.